You want details? Fine. I drive a Ferrari 355 Cabriolet. What's up? I have a ridiculous house in the South Fork. I have every toy you can possibly imagine. And best of all, kids, I am liquid. So, now you know what's possible. Let me tell you what's required.
lifeadvicerr@gmail.com. All right, we're actually going to do this here. We're going to do a couple follow-ups. I do appreciate all the celebrity stories that Kyle has forwarded me. By the way, Kyle is off. He's not been kidnapped. That would be amazing. Like the Frolic Room con man heard the podcast, wouldn't be surprised. And then
Kyle's missing.
Yeah, Kyle's missing. He said he's at the Super Bowl somewhere else this week. There's another one apparently.
Yeah.
He's at a funeral.
No, hanging out. I think he's in Poughkeepsie. I think he's back home, so enjoying his week off.
Yeah, Kyle vacations in Poughkeepsie. That's how salt of the earth he is. So here's an update on the guy that wanted to take the LeBrons from Lost and Found. He said, fired up. You guys read the original email.
Yes.
People do really want to know what happened here. Thank you for the advice. I want to firstly clear my name. At the time of writing, I had not, all caps, not taken the shoes. By the way, we knew that. I'm pretty sure
Well, no, you had said, I think we pretty much came to the consensus that by the time we read the email, there's a good chance that he had taken the shoes already.
All right. Well, he says at the time of the writing, I had not taken the shoes. I believe the way we told that story is that we were under the understanding of the time of writing that he had not taken them. Why would he? Why would he take them and then write the email unless he just had a guilty conscience?
There was a strong lean there, though. We thought, yeah.
Well, because I think most guys were taking the shoes in that moment. I think most people, unfortunately, kind of lean that way, where they're going, whatever. Lost and found. Somebody else is going to take them. All right. So he says, I had not taken the shoes. I was genuinely facing the moral quandary of robbing another man the opportunity to find his sneakers, and sought counsel from people whom I figured would lead me down the right path. That being us, I guess. After your advice on the Monday pod, I'd planned to wait 2 more weeks. But after hearing the overwhelming support of the Life Advice community on Wednesday's pod, who said to just take them, I am now the proud owner of a new, to me, pair of LeBrons. He goes, also over the weekend with Ryan's comments in the back of my mind, I slapped 175 on the bench and got 2 reps. What a week for your boy. So he said he's going to send in personal record accomplishments on the bench. You do not need to do that, but we appreciate the follow-up. We knew he was taking them, but yeah, I guess his point was he needed to hear from us on that. And, it's not like he hit a body in the woods and he has to, go to bed with that guilt every night. The Raven. I think he'll be fine. And I think most people probably agree with him, even if I'm probably a little bit later in a stage of my life where I just wouldn't take somebody else's used shoes. But I know right now I'm not the person to ask. So
your average dude, I think, is making the same decision that our emailer did. And I think it's totally fine. And I think at now, certainly enough time has passed where I think it's fair game. So he has them, he owns them, and that's fine. I'll go back. My only concern at the time was that the guy was the original owner of the shoes would see you wearing them at a pickup game. And at the end of the day, it's been a month or so. So if he does confront you, say, yeah, man, I took him. What do you want me to do? You left the shoes in there for a month, and you could just give them back if he wants. So I think everybody wins in this scenario. And I'm happy that the Life Advice community was also weighing in and gave him confidence too. Because, you and I and Kyle were not always 100% right on everything. We just give our take. But I'm glad that they sort of forced him forward to make his dream come true of finding a new pair of used LeBrons.
Yeah, right. Exactly. We do not bat 1,000. We do not claim to bat 1,000. On this. All right. This, though, is about as much of a home run of a follow-up story with a celebrity encounter. It's the best email we've gotten in weeks, and I'm fucking reading it. And I know it's delaying the other stuff, but it's too good. It has to be shared. Although, you know what? I didn't put it in the truth generator app that we have. Let me.
Oh no.
Yeah. Let me just do that.
The Google machine.
Let me do that real quick. It's is there an app for this? Be like, yeah, copy and paste and put it into Google. All right. Let's make sure it passes the old sniff test here. This is live podcasting in the moment. Pretty exciting, isn't it, kids?
I have a story too, as well, actually, from a DM about a celebrity encounter.
Oh, yeah.
If you want me to share. Yeah.
Is it that good?
No, it's short, actually.
All right. If it's
while you're doing that, I'll tell you.
Go ahead.
So this is actually the guy, and I'm sure he won't mind because he's a big fan of the show. It's actually the Russillo memes account. He DM'd me on Instagram, and he said, quote, I was in the Lifetime Fitness locker room, and Nene Hilario, former Rocket, former Nugget, love that guy. I used to draft him in 2K all the time. He opened the locker next to mine, caught me totally off guard, and just said, damn, I know who you are. He laughed at my reaction. We chatted for a bit. This was back when he was on the Rockets. And after that, we would see each other at the gym. He occasionally would ask me to spot him on the DB bench. Good dude. So worked out for our guy.
That's a great story. Nene,
he became Nene's spotter.
Nene Hilario became just Nene then after a little while.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wish I were from Brazil.
I was going to say Brazilian. It's him and Anderson Varejao, right? The two Brazilian dudes. Yeah.
Leandrino Barbosa.
Oh, that's right. Yep. There you go.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Suns.
But
you got to trust somebody a ton to ask them to spot you on a bench, though, right? So that means like that was like a real bond from our.
I got to tell you, dumbbell spotting is even more intimate.
I wouldn't even know how to do that. So good for him.
Yeah, just get below the elbows. And then when you're done, you'd be like, dude, I barely helped you on that last one. Great job. You have to say that.
Nene's personal hype guy. Yeah.
No, you have to say that in any spotting of any guy ever. You have to be like, oh, dude, that was pretty much all you, like 95%. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. I ran it through the, if this is fake, I'm going to search. Because the last fake one we had, I found the guy's real stuff on LinkedIn. Fucking idiot emailed us from his account with a thing. And I almost wanted to call and go, hey, I just want to talk to a supervisor there and let you know that Chris in data entry sends fake emails to people. But I didn't want to do that.
No, we don't do that.
I wouldn't want to ruin his life.
No.
Because clearly the bosses would have been like, all right.
But you've been warned.
We've got to meet this guy. All right, here we go. This is unbelievable. This is so good. And I've taken too long to get there. So let's do it. 5'8", 175. Back in 2005, my brothers and I went out to Orange County, California to visit a couple of buddies of mine. On our second night there, we headed out to a club. There were 5 of us total, no girls. Shockingly, we waited in line for over an hour to get in. Once inside, we found out a round of beers was $75. God, in 2005, where were you?
Was this Live?
Yeah, I mean, look, Live, New York City or something like that. But whatever. I mean, some places are expensive, but yeah, that's not great. For beers, that seems high. $15 for beer seems kind of high. But all right, none of the girls seem to have any interest in talking to us. Probably because you were complaining about the $15 beers. Fast forward an hour, and my brother Alex and I are walking to the bathroom when Nick Carter of the Backstreet Boys walks out. This is back in 2005, and the Backstreet Boys were still semi-relevant. The night was going nowhere, and upon leaving the bathroom, Alex pulled a move out of nowhere. He walks right up to Nick and says, "Hey, Nick, great to see you. It's Craig from O-Town." O-Town, for those that don't know, another boy band of that era, but much well less known, an important point of pulling this off. He said, "Man, I haven't seen you since the Grammys 2 years ago," and then sticks his hand out for a handshake. Nick looks at him for about 10 seconds, and then as if he's known him his whole life, throws his arms around Alex and says how great it is to see him again, meaning Craig, I assume. Alex introduces me as his manager, and then Nick says, "If I remember the Grammys, Craig loves Jaeger bombs." Proceeds to order them for me, Alex, and the whole crew. When the bill comes, Nick turns to Alex and says, "Craig, your manager has this right." All right. So just understand, Alex and Craig are the same person. Nick Carter thinks that Alex is Craig from O-Town and that the guy emailing this is the manager of O-Town. So he says, "Oh, your manager." So he goes, "Now I'm in my mid-20s, but not wanting to ruin the thing we have going, I throw up a credit card and pay the $210 tab." Then Nick asks if we want to come party with him in their VIP area. Which, of course, we do because our night is awful. The VIP area was awesome, and we didn't pay for a drink the rest of the night. All the girls who wouldn't give us the time of day earlier are now trying to get us to bring them back to the VIP area. At one point later in the night, the manager of the club came in and asked to speak with Craig's manager, meaning me. He proceeds to ask how many more days we're going to be in town. If we want to come back again, they'll set us up for a VIP area for us the next time in. Not having any idea what a manager should do or sound like, I decided to just act like E from Entourage to the point where the club manager asked me if we liked the club and the VIP setup. And I said, quote, "I was working in a pizza place in New York a year ago. I'm living the dream." He obviously did not get the reference as he thought this was hilarious. And he gave me his card, made me promise we'd come back before he left town. There's so many other little stories of the night, but to keep it brief, as the night went on and more drinks were had, Alex and I got cockier and cockier. We were making more mistakes and keeping up with the lie, like introducing ourselves to girls with our real names at one point. Finally, as the night was ending, Nick's manager walks in to pick them up and drive them home. Nick brings them over to Alex and I to say hi. We jump up to shake his hand, but could see right away he knew we were full of shit. The jig was up. He turns to Nick and says, "Bitch, there ain't no Craig in O-Town." He was correct. There wasn't. Alex just randomly made up the name. Needless to say, we were immediately removed from the VIP area and escorted out of the club. But no matter, we had obviously a ridiculously fun night, drank in the VIP area for over 3 hours, had a great story that we'll laugh about to this day. I think you're supposed to lie to Nick Carter if you meet him out. So I don't have any problem with this whatsoever. I think it's terrific. And it's a story now. It's 17 years old. And these guys probably tell it all the time. So that's why I think it was just important to share it to the rest of the community here.
Yeah, honestly, you have a better chance of probably lying to a celebrity and tricking them into a story like that than you do telling the truth. So this honestly, we probably solved the problem. That's your way in, as long as you play it cool. Now, not everyone's going to be able to play it as cool as these guys seem to do, and like making up the lie on the way there. But because I just looked up, I remember O-Town. Obviously, I'm 32, 33 years old.
Remember, fucking playing him this morning.
I was like, I don't remember a Craig. I just Googled. I'm like, yeah, we got Ashley Parker Angel. We got a couple other dudes, and like no Craig. But there's a 0% chance that a guy of Nick Carter's stature knows who's in a lesser band. That'd be like asking. I'm trying to think. Like, do you think a guy?
What if he's
like LeBron?
Yeah, but you never know though.
No, I'm sorry. Do you think like LeBron? If you're like, hey, yeah, I'm so and so on the Hawks, like some random guy, and now LeBron's not gonna, invite you to his VIP area, but he'd be like, oh yeah, I remember you, like, good game, dude. Like, there's no way he would actually even remember or care. So the best thing to do in that situation is probably lie about who you are. So
you just don't think like you could say, hey, I'm Kiefer Sykes, I play for the Pacers, to LeBron?
Unless he would be like, sure. He'd probably tell you how much he loves your game. And he's like, there's no way that LeBron's inviting you back to a VIP room, but I guarantee you he would just at least show you some love. I mean, you have to look the part too. I don't know what these guys look like, but
if this is true, if Nick Carter said to fake Craig from O-Town, if I remember the Grammys, Craig loves Jaeger bombs and then buys Jaeger bombs. Like, that's one of the best things. Your life, it's kind of downhill. I imagine nothing as great as, I'm sure there's plenty of good stuff has happened, but has anything that great happened? All right, let's get to a couple actual life advices here. It took too long with that, but that's fine. 6'4", 215. All right. Girlfriends have described me as fit. This guy went above and beyond. He sent in the application, picture of the driver's license. I don't know. He said include it all. I'm not going to include it all.
Okay.
For a very specific reason. Okay, here we go. During the pandemic, I joined a country club. Due to COVID, the initiation fee and dues were significantly reduced to a point where I was a worker in the gig economy. As a worker in the gig economy, I could afford it. So, all right, here we go. He'll explain what some more of this means, so I'm not going to derail it here. I'm 25. I live in San Francisco, so I make enough money, but I didn't think my application would be accepted if I said that I drove for Uber and delivered groceries for Instacart. So that's what he means by gig economy. Even though it is enough money to pay my dues. So I lied. I fabricated a story about how I run an incredibly niche video game company, something that the majority of the membership would have absolutely zero knowledge of. I was accepted into the full-fledged membership in July of last year. I become what I would describe as a core member of the club. My father, who lives in a city 3 hours south of me, came in to visit the club, play the course. Unfortunately, 2 other members joined our tea time last minute. My father's aware of my current career choice, but comments of my career between my father and the 2 members who joined our round came up and even continued into the lunch afterwards. I've now heard rumblings that word is circling through the club that I've lied about my career. I know that word travels quickly around our club. For example, when a member recently picked up taxidermy as a hobby, word spread like wildfire. Hey, if a guy close to you becomes a taxidermist, people are going to talk about it. Yeah, everybody knows that.
That's something that just slides by.
Yeah. I feel that many of the members have such a theatrical facade to their personalities. Even though I lied about where my money comes from out of fear of rejection, I feel that I'm more normal than a lot of the other membership. Okay, that one. Who knows? I can't choose. I can't choose a side on that one. I don't want to give up unlimited access to a premier golf course. I'm really freaking worried that every round I play will be corrupted by an interrogation of my fake career. Should I A, let it blow over and deny, B, come clean to around 75 of the 350 members that are aware of my career? All right. Before I dive into B, we'll get through the rest of these. C, quit the club, knowing that other clubs in the areas have initiation fees that are more than I make in a year, and I'll likely never have the same privilege again. Or should I let this blow over, as I likely won't be able to afford to join another club in the area, as their initiations are more than what I make in a year? I fucking love golf, he ends it with. And then he gave us all of his name and his contact stuff. All right. The fact that you came up with a lie that was this impressive, that you knew if I just said, hey, I'm working on this video game company, I run it, no one would ever know what it was. The fact that you knew that, your instincts led you to that path, that solution here, because I don't know if they were going to not let you in or not. I don't know. I asked around some of my friends that live in the area. I said, how nice is this club? I mentioned the club. They're like, look, it's all right, but this isn't like, you got into it, dude. You know what I mean? Like, some of these clubs, you showing up with a suit and tie and interviewing and to have all these members sign off on it ahead of time. And then the initiation fees are ridiculous and all that kind of stuff. So I probably, like you're probably doing better than I was at 25, but I, like you, like, okay, this is what nice is, until I get to experience like what really nice is. And I think that's where this club lies. So you were smart enough to figure out that even if they turn me down, I don't know if they're going to turn you down to the other stuff. I'm not a member at any golf courses. I can't believe that you'd be smart enough to come up with that on the application and then be dumb enough to think that B is an actual option here. Come clean to 75 of the 350 members. You might as well just tell all fucking 350. Like, can you imagine? Like, think about what you just said. I'm going to cap the truth at 75 guys, because then nobody else is going to say anything. If there's anything we know about all of us, is everybody likes to talk. Everybody likes talking about people, man. That's what we do. Beginning of Sapiens, very early on. Why did we evolve in a different way? Because we were able to gossip. All right. That's kind of one of the core tenets of Sapiens, where it's like we were able to believe in things. That's why we have so many people that believe in conspiracy theories, or sometimes people are in a hurry to believe conspiracy theories more so than just kind of like the truth. It's why we can look at the same fucking picture. I didn't want to do it on the podcast today. It's why you can have 1,000 people look at the Juwan Howard guard confrontation and come up with a million different scenarios of what actually happened, when it's pretty clear that one guy escalated over the other, even though the initial guy shouldn't have put his hands on Juwan Howard. All right. I don't think Juwan Howard should be fired, by the way. That's my statement. So you telling 75 and thinking that's going to kind of just like, yeah, these guys will be my core 75. That's not going to happen. And you're right. If you're hearing rumblings that people think you lied in the application because your father was talking about you driving for Uber and Instacart while you're playing around with 2 other members, then that's definitely what has happened. So there's another thing about human nature. People are rarely as confrontational as they say that they are. So my guess would be, if you love golf and you can't join another course, and what you did isn't terrible, because, it's not like you're the frolic room con man here. Although there's probably other people that are lifelong members at places that are listening to me being like, you can't do that. You absolutely can't lie on your application, whatever. These are your friends. These are your, because some golf clubs take it's almost this brotherhood thing. That's a whole nother level. One of my friends belongs to a course where you can't sit at a table by yourself. Like, if there's 3 people at a table and there's a 4th chair, you have to sit at the 4th chair. Oh, man. So if you were like, yeah, so they would kick me out in an afternoon. Yeah. They'd be like, who said yes to Russillo? He's fucking sitting by himself.
I need 5 minutes to myself. Let me just eat this meal in peace. Like, no, what are we doing?
No, like, if you don't know who the other people are, you have to sit with them. Like, you have to sit with those guys.
Is this like an adult frat situation? This is what it sounds like an older frat guy. Basically, except you just golf instead of, pound beers.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't want to criticize it, because I think in a weird way, sometimes when I'll hear about some golf course membership tradition kind of stuff, like, I don't know, sometimes that stuff can be kind of cool. Like, no, this is how we want to do this stuff. Like, we don't have to just say all of it's stupid and all that stuff. So I don't think that's necessarily what this course is, but I'm leaning towards, for you, denying it, playing some golf. You're probably not going to be a lifelong member there. And I don't know. I mean, some people that are younger are probably saying, hey, fake it till you make it. But I'm not in the golf course world. I'm not a member, so I don't know how. Like, I could imagine some people think that this is like the worst thing you could ever do. I don't think that's necessarily true. But you thinking you're going to be able to just tell the close people that this isn't going to spread, everybody's going to know this about you. And it's up to your own level of comfort being in an uncomfortable situation. Like, if you can say, screw it, I'm here, I love this course, this is the best I can do. Normally, I couldn't have afforded it if it wasn't what had happened before. There's plenty of golf courses that are struggling for younger people anyway across the board, because the younger generations, and I would say to their credit, are probably like, wait, I got to cut you a check for how much just to say I belong here? But other people would look at it as, yeah, that's the whole point, is then you get in, you network, you meet people, and your life changes because you have access to opportunities you would have never had. So, look, it depends on what's important to you. I'm not saying either one is the right one or wrong one, but in this case, if you want to keep playing golf, which you just said at the end of the email, I fucking love playing golf, I would just roll with it, and I wouldn't tell anybody. I wouldn't tell anybody at this point, because golf is probably more important to the relationships for you based on what I'm reading here.
I know this may be a surprise to some people because I grew up in Connecticut. But I know little to nothing about country club culture or life or anything about that. So this guy, can they kick him out on those
Yeah.
grounds of lying? So they can kick him out. All right.
Yeah.
I would say if you really want to stay, can't you just you can kind of tweak the lie a little bit and say, listen, I knew like I probably wasn't going to get in, but I do have this company that I'm trying to start. It hasn't gotten as far as I want to, and then just kind of play the idea that way that like you have this like video game company that you're trying, but you're driving an Uber, you're doing all this other stuff on the side to raise money in the meantime, and blah 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 blah. And that'll probably get people off your scent. Be like, oh, all right. So he has ambition. He's interesting. You have to be a likable guy. I'm sure if these guys like you, they're going to be more likely to, want you to stick around. So can he just do that and say, yeah, I'm still trying to get this thing off the ground. The company's not as big as I said it was. Yes, I did lie, but then kind of make up the fact that you like where you are in starting this company. And then that'll probably get people off your scent.
I would not initiate that. You would have to come to me before I would play that card. I wouldn't go to them and be like, hey, I want to meet with you and tell you about this lie.
So you would just not say anything. You would just be the shadowy guy. You would just not say anything.
I don't think it's shadowy. There's also, based on the research I did on this course, I don't think they should be turning away somebody who makes money driving for Uber. This isn't fucking Pebble Beach here, man. So, the guy said he could pay the dues or whatever. So maybe that was a mistake. It's not just putting that down. Maybe he would have been fine otherwise. But
why didn't he tell his dad? Why didn't he give his dad a heads up about the situation too? I mean, maybe.
Well, because he probably didn't want to say to his dad, "Hey, I got in here because I lied about something." So he probably didn't want to do that.
Maybe, I don't know. I just like, hey, Dad, don't blow up my spot. Don't talk about my career. Like, what? I don't know. I just feel like that would be. You're right. The guy is clearly smart. In getting into the place in the first place. There's a couple like critical errors that he's made along the way that make me think like, what's this guy doing?
Here's what I know. Of all the options, telling 75 guys, "Hey, keep it low. Here's the real deal," is the worst solution.
It's a bad idea. It's not a good idea. Yeah.
Right. All right. I hope you enjoyed Life Advice. lifeadvicerr@gmail.com. We got Cerruti. Thank you to him. Thanks to Mike Wargon. Shout out back in New York City. And Kyle in Poughkeepsie. Just thinking of you, man. Talk to you Wednesday.